We have no leaders but looter. Oh, man. Zimbabwe corruption is madness. I remain one blow, Mr. Blow, as I blow the corruption, mutilation. For my generation, hear me now. Shout out to Raspi. We have a mafia government in Zimbabwe. We have no rights in Zimbabwe because the police and them soldiers are corruption. See, we have no ministers in Zimbabwe because they appoint their sons and girlfriends. Mama, corruption. The police is brutal, the military is volatile. See, corruption. Every corruption in Zimbabwe. Hear me now. How can a whole nation with ministers lost 15 billion? Zimbabwe is funny, the diamonds were given to Chinese in exchange for cheese. What about their Zimbabwe? Yeah. Corruption, 3 airplanes went missing. Mugabe and his in-laws and we're dishing. Let's talk about weak, no solar and hospital plus goats. The minister and president lie under oath. They injected Morgan and silenced the revolution. I cry corruption. They paid Nelson and stole the election. The nation left in confusion. Mr. Wamblo, I say it's corruption. Big up to you, one boy. This nation is rotten. We need a revolution. And youth on a mission. Say no to corruption. I'm about to cry now. Prophets and pastors lie for cash cars from week now. We have fake socialite and ass-licking musicians, you just praiser. Preacher, try more. Walter Magaya and you pastor Yan. Poverty makes us brainless, calling looters boss and praising corrupt military. Why do journalists fear? Big up Hopewell and bless it, salute out and Soul TV. What happened to General Solomon, Air Marshal Terence Sherry, Minister SB Moyo? Where is Walter Muzembe? Don't forget more blessing Ali. This government, mama, is corrupt and bloodthirsty. No to clueless government, sex for Mr. Appointments. No to gold mafia. Even you, Prophet Angel, you a criminal. We have a mafia government in Zimbabwe. We have no rights in Zimbabwe because the police and them soldiers corruption. See, we have no ministers in Zimbabwe because they appoint their sons and girlfriends. Mama, corruption. The police is brutal, the military is volatile. See, corruption. Every corruption in Zimbabwe.
Greetings, and more greetings to you, good people, and welcome to Point 5 Creative Studios, your favorite platform on YouTube. Manje ya parupisa mawani zvekutodaro nyaya ndiri kufamba nayo zvamanje inyaya yekuabuswa, yekubhinywa kuri kuitwa vanhu, kwakaitwa vanhu, kutsakatika kwakaita vanhu, kurukuita vanhu, simply because of the regime. If you go against the regime, your life will be in danger. If you speak truth to power, your life will be in danger. At the moment, I don't want to waste time. I've got Comrade Whitehead on the line in the Paninya Zakawanda Zirkuitika, simply because he has been exposing Uno, Maitiro, ZANU-PF. Now they target him. His life is now in danger simply because he has been standing nechokwadi. Varukumira nevana veZimbabwe, varukumira nemhuri yeZimbabwe, exposing yatomhosva, kutaura zvinhu kuti hatisi kufara, we are not happy because of ABCD. Inenge itori mhosva iyoyo. Without wasting much of your time, let me welcome Comrade Whitehead on the line. Comrade Whitehead, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And how are you?
Nah, I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah. Tinadzo nyaya idzi.
This also.
Right. without wasting much time, toda kuti matangopinda munyaya yedu. There are reports, there are claims, and I was talking to one of the people in the system also confirming that anyone who is saying no to 2030, it's a threat, is a threat to national security. So they have to find ways to deal with them. It's either vanokusunga, it's either uchatsakatika, it's either vachakuuraya. And zvitori paground and zvinhu izvi zviri kuitika. That's what we want to discuss today. Kuti the history of ZANU-PF yekuabusa vanhu kwainoita, kwayaiita, kwairi kuita, the disappearance of a lot of people without any trace, simply because vati aiwa, we are not happy because of this and this. Right now there are reports saying that your life is in danger simply because you have been exposing ZANU-PF. That's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
So you
ZANU has been doing this for a very long time. Very, very long time. Isu kwatiri atova mafuta. Uzinzwa yadeploya vanhu kuti vari kutitsvaga, kutitevera. They are trying to discover where we are, what we are doing, how to eliminate. And the ZANU-PF haina ma-empty threat.
yes.
Haita mistake iyoyo. They kill. They adapt and kill. So this is not a new thing. Isi vame takafura napo kubva nyika ichitorwa. If I tell you my history, ndakamboitaura panapa. Ndakasungwa ndikanogara underground cell for close 3.5 years without trial, without trace, without seeing any one of my relatives when they'd all given up. But still God kept me, protected me. I came out alive. So I'm not the only one. Takawanda. What we are hoping is that SADC, nyika dzeku-SADC, ngadzingware, because ZANU-PF is using their territory, is using their countries to commit these atrocities. So nyika dzemu-SADC ngadzingwarire idzodzo. They are sending people to kidnap people in their countries. That creates a regional destabilization. It's against humanity, it's against protocol, it's against any other treaties. Kana munhu abuda anopotera kune dzimwe nyika, hakuna nyika inovhumira kumutevera ikoko, kunomutora ikoko kana kuti kunomuurayira ikoko. That's against the international law. So yambiro yangu ndeyekuti particularly SADC countries ngavangwarire nyaya idzi, because dziri kuescalate. Kuti vanenge vachizononga zvitunha kana vanhu vanenge vakapotera kwavari vakudisappear, woshayika ukuthi munhu aenda kupi. That creates destabilization kunyika idzodzo. They should not allow that. They should really look into these allegations closely, very closely, monitor, see whether it is true. Yeah. Because that's a reality. They've deployed all over Southern Africa. So you cannot have one country, only one country, operating underground in other countries outside diplomatic channels. If there is somebody they are looking for whom they believe committed a criminal offense, there are protocols to follow.
Yes.
They know what they are supposed to do. This is why they have embassies. They know what they're supposed to do. You don't send your secret services in another country to go and destabilize that person, kill that person, and that country start using a lot of money in trying to establish how did this happen. This is another way of really escalating their internal differences into another countries. But anyway, that has always been their way of doing, or their modus operandi for years. But SADC must take cognizance of that. Really, they can say it's an internal affair, it's an internal issue. Zimbabweans must do and come up with what they want. They must correct themselves. Yes, it's true. They don't interfere. But these cross-border operations are uncalled for, are not allowed, are illegal. Whether it's happening in South Africa, Zambia, Botswana, Malawi, wherever, they are destabilizing those countries. Already by dispersing people, it's a problem. Just that one is a problem to SADC. Because SADC countries are failing to plan, to budget for their populations, for their own citizens, because there's influx of Zimbabwean running away from their country to that country, from that country to that country. That's already destabilization. But now, if it is graduating to an extent of eliminating, to an extent of killing, the cross-border extrajudicial killing, it must be a cause of concern. It must be a cause of concern. That is not proper. They should not do that. ZANU-PF must stop that. They created these problems. They must fix it within their borders. That's what we are talking about, DJ Hall, to say, no, this is not right. There must be a sanity in the regime. They must, ZANU-PF must respect borders of other countries, because these countries don't violate their borders. They don't do that. Why do you send your intelligence officers in neighboring countries, which intelligence officers or any spy that are not accredited in those countries? And they start to do things what they are doing. We saw it in South Africa. We are seeing it. We have seen it in other countries. So that is not right. We condemn and reservedly we condemn such actions. But our plea goes to SADC countries that they should examine these things that are done by ZANU-PF government. Because it's not, it might be one or two people dying today, but there will be a time when ZANU-PF inoita madiro ajojini, that massacring people, finding bodies across the borders. That's violation of the international law. These international boundaries are recognized and are respected, and has to be respected by any member state. This must be understood clearly. And I urge the Zimbabwean government to consider this thing. They must consider that what they are doing, they are inviting serious problem, or they are putting pressure into other member states. These countries have their own internal problems. They have their own internal mechanism. So they cannot now be looking after people to say, so-and-so is going to be kidnapped from us, so-and-so somebody is going to be killed within our border. How do we explain? You can't pick a boat in the street that is not known. And that person is either sought for a refugee, or doing other things, or is working, or is doing is a student. Because he opposes you, you follow that person to that country and eliminate that country. You are putting pressure into those countries, unnecessary pressure for that matter. This should not be the case. And their handlers, or their social media platforms, you really should desist from encouraging such things. Because I hear in some of these platforms, people speak evil. Vari kutaura ariko koko chakubata chete. What is that? Wauri kutaura wacho uri kupi iwe wacho uri kutaura uri kupi? First and foremost, you are a Zimbabwean. Irrespective which part of Zimbabwe you are coming from, you are a Zimbabwean. It will happen to you too.
Yes.
So this is anyway. That's all I wanted to say in this issue of ZANU-PF now putting a program, really a program, to say they want to cross borders to go and destabilize those countries by kidnapping their citizens who are seeking either refugee, or they are on work permit, or they are doing other things in those other countries because they differ with you. You put resources, you take all the resources to track down those people and say we're going to kill them. No, that's not proper. SADC must look into this issue.
Yeah, loud and clear. Zvirukunzwika. I want to ask a question, Baba. Kuti, how does a government operates in terms of doing these dirty tricks or dirty deeds? Is the head of state involved, or there is someone who's working close to the head of state who is being given instructions and then here also maita? Famba say, because I'm trying to think around it. Like the head of states achigara pasi kuti hande tinobata ningi, let's go and destroy this one, let's go and kill this one, let's go and do this. How does the system work?
In every country, there is an office of the president, which report it direct to the president, internally and externally, gather information of what is happening within the country and the relationship with other countries. If there is any fugitive from any other country, there is a protocol to follow. For instance, if you run away from Zimbabwe, having committed a crime that is perceived to be a crime, you don't follow that person. You alert those member states. We have so and so who committed this crime. Can you assist, please, in identifying the suspects in your country? Now there is Interpol. They report and they will investigate that case and they try and track down that person, whichever country is. And if he's found, he will be arrested and extradited back to his country. And you do so in liaison with your neighbor countries. The security services do coordinate. They know world over. In neighboring country, they do coordinate. The security services of both countries, they have their platforms where they meet and discuss the security of each country and what is likely to disturb the region. They discuss these things. So if you have a problem with your citizens that you think are of a security threat in the SADC region, you have that platform to ventilate. You have that platform to air or to issue those, to present those issues. Then matters will be looked into. So the office of the president in Zimbabwe has, I think, more than 10 intelligence collecting operatives. In the economic front, diplomatic front, which is the international relations, how you relate with other countries, and what is likely to cause despondency or that is likely to jeopardize the relationship among member states, they report to the president. They report. All of them, they report. Internally, they tell the president. This is why sometimes you find, no, you are not supposed to do this. It has been stopped because the police have looked into your request to demonstrate or to do any other thing. It might degenerate into chaos. Then they stop. That is the function of those big offices, to inform the president. But if you are now going to go an extra mile and say, I am going to send my people to go and kidnap people in your neighborhood, then you are a threat yourself to the nation, to the regional security. You become a threat yourself. Because what you are really suggesting or what you are creating is the regional instability. Yes. What of the person that you are intending to go and kidnap? In the meantime, when you kidnap, there is a retaliation. So there'll be a shootout which is not known by the security of that country where you are executing this barbaric act of kidnapping people. The security services or the internal security of those countries will not be knowing. They only hear some shots of guns and the people disappear. And it puts pressure onto those countries. If you have a politician from your country, you liaise with your head of your counterpart. They have a forum in the SADC region. This is why we have in the SADC an organ of defense and security. You ventilate, you present those cases to members. No, you are harboring bandits. No, you are harboring this kind of people in your country. I have reports from my own intelligence. Then that country is going to investigate that. If it is true, they will address that, and the people will be exchanged. That's how governments operate. Anything outside that is an insurgency. You cannot claim that, no, you just send a police officer, go to South Africa, go to Zambia, you go and take so and so, we hear is there, go and effect arrest. No, that's not allowed. It is not allowed. Yes. So they cannot escalate this now. They are doing it in South Africa. We have lost many of our people in South Africa who are being murdered, and the suspects are not identified because of such a behavior. Recently, we lost this young man, Sarwaka, who was shot. And it's believed he was shot by the Zimbabwean intelligence. If South Africa had not intervened in the matter of Nyoka Emapun would be dead by now.
Yes.
But fortunately, South Africa quickly identified and they intervened. So they had no choice but to surrender to the South African authorities, in which the matter is in the court now. And up to now, they've not presented any tangible evidence as to why they are charging him.
Yes.
So these are the things we are saying. This is barbaric. This is uncalled for. This is cowardice at its worst. We don't want a repeat of the Smith regime that was going to bomb neighboring countries for simply saying they are supporting the liberation movement. We don't want to go back to that again. That's not right. So that's my answer to your question.
Right. To those who are just joining us, and na comrade Whitehead on the line, tiri kukurukura nenyaya dziri kuitika dzakaitika nedzatiri kutarisira kuti dzinogona kuitika. There are reports saying that vanhu vakakushwa vadirwa munyika dzakatenderedza vachitsvaga vanhu vari kuti pasi ne2030 vachitsvaga vanhu vavari kufungira kuti vanhu ava vanokwanisa kumisa programu ye2030. ndina comrade Whitehead tiri kutaura panapa. I have got a comment from one of the followers here. Hanzi ndi fake pastor makore anozviti the informant pachannel yake, he always threatening people with the unspecified actions from ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa. Yeah, there is a comment.
Ndo ma-threat atiri kutaura kuti remember Mnangagwa instructed his communication department to be active on social media to counter propaganda. But this is no longer a counter to propaganda. It's now an insurgency. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. This is now an insurgency. Because these platforms are meant for people to compete in debate. People to air their views. You opened this station not to advance anyone's opinion or anyone's interest. You are saying, let's come here and debate what is happening in our country, economically, politically, social. What is it that is happening? Why are we scattered? Then we debate fairly with no threats. But if you now move away from these kind of debates and start creating some hooligans, some mafia grouping who are now specializing in cross-border tracking, you are destabilizing the region. You are no longer pursuing political debates. You are no longer defending your stance, whether it's your 2030 mantra that you are running up with. It's no longer that. You are now saying, I'm declaring a war where I'll go to every country where there is a citizen of this Zimbabwe who speaks against me, and they assassinate that person and come back. You know you are doing it without the knowledge of your counterparts in the regime. You know it. And why do you do that? Because the next thing that is going to happen is a regional fight. It's a regional destabilization. There is no country that will want to see a dead body in their streets without knowing how it happened. So ZANU-PF must be careful about those things. This is why we are calling on SADC countries to look into the issue very closely. Because we know them. We know where they are. We know that they've been deployed across the borders, illegal so. They are not accredited, but they will pretend to be visitors. Some of them are not even documented. They don't even go through the borders. Some of them, they've even gone further to create their own documentation outside the systems of those countries. We know that. They've done so. They are now nationalities of those countries outside a normal channel of obtaining documentation in those countries. Just for the purposes that if they do their dirty work, they run away and go back without a trace. You are putting pressure, you are causing insecurity in your neighboring countries. So
But
that's not right.
but
It has to be stopped.
but what does it mean for a country like Zimbabwe to have an affiliate by the name by the name presidential mafia, by the other one is called Zimbabwe anti-presidential criticism, and they are on camera, on record, threatening people, yet we've got police, we've got the law in Zimbabwe that says you must never threaten anyone, but they are doing it in a country that we claim or that we say it's free and its justice system is not captured, and they are working day and night scot-free without anything, without any arrest. What does it mean for a country like ours zvinhu zvakadaro zvichiitika?
That's exactly what we're talking about, DJ Ward. To say they are creating a terrorist organizations that will be attacking neighboring countries. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has a capacity to investigate and arrest,
Yes.
maintain law and order. Zimbabwe Defense Forces has that capacity. Why creating mafia group in the name of the president? This is why we're calling to SADC to really try and speak to their counterpart that this is putting a lot of pressure in these countries. And unless we complain to these countries, this is what is happening. They will be continue saying, I know those are internal affairs, without knowing that no, it's no longer internal thing. It has escalated beyond borders. These extrajudicial kidnappings that are happening outside Zimbabwe, sorry,
Okay, nice.
outside Zimbabwean borders are uncalled for, are illegal, are criminal. You can't go and kill Sauruwaka in South Africa outside the South African justice system. You cannot do that. When you commit an offense in South Africa, the South African people, the South African government will apply its laws. This is why the son of the former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, is now in police custody because he committed a crime within South Africa. And they are not harassing him. They've not done anything. They are following their laws. They are following the procedure. He has appeared in court. He will continue appearing in court, and justice will be done. Why you yourself, you create a mafia group and you even allow them to speak in public that anyone who is opposed to this government, we are going to track you wherever you are. And I know when they cross into these countries, they don't use the border. They jump the border. They don't come through because they will be discovered. If you enter in any border, your passport will be stamped that you are in. And if you now kill someone and use another route of going back, then that government, that country will try and find out where are you. Because you crossed the border, you have not crossed the back out. So that creates a problem for the regime. And we are calling for SADC to revisit these things and see the repercussions and the impact that it will cause in these countries. Because this mafia for the president, or this fuzz, the forever what, those are not security forces, are not part of the security sector in Zimbabwe. Those are party mafias who are now internationalizing themselves illegally to go and destabilize other countries, the SADC in particular. And this will not only end in SADC, it will also go to AU. And we are saying the African countries must call one another in order. They must call one another to order to say, no, what you are now doing is giving us pressure, unnecessary pressure. So it is illegally for Zimbabwean government to allow I don't know whether they are registered. This is the presidential mafia and those that call them presidential insult group. I don't know how they are being registered, whether they are an organization, but we simply know they are hooligans. Nobody spoke when Mnangagwa created doctors for ED, teachers for ED, Mahure for ED, Windy for ED, because they were confined in the country. But these ones now that go to cross the borders and start murdering people there, that's what we don't want. Interfering in the affairs of other countries, penetrating the security system in those countries, that's uncalled for. It is illegal, it is criminal. That's a terroristic behavior character. That's a terroristic character, which cannot be done by a sitting government. That's not allowed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, there are no other questions. I was just about to ask you to give us the closing remarks and then to Vatavara the program.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm only appealing, like I've said, to SADC to look into this. But let's go back home. The ZANU-PF has been in power for 45 years. And it is known to be a violent party, political party. Starting from 1980, it has done so in the 80s. There were too much kidnappings, both in Zambia and Botswana. They were following people that they suspected to be dissidents, and they kidnapped them from the refugee camps. They did that. ZANU-PF is responsible for destabilization of African continent by dispersing people, forcing people to leave and flee to these countries, and later they follow them to go and they kill them in those countries. So that should not be the case. The 2030 mantra must be a subject to be debated by Zimbabweans. Because it is for Zimbabweans, by Zimbabweans. Whatever the problem it brings, it should not be escalated to other countries. It must remain a Zimbabwean issue, be resolved by Zimbabwean people. And I call to all the Zimbabweans, all proper thinking Zimbabweans to reject the extension. Because once it does so, it sets a bad precedence in the SADC region. We can't have a continent where the people just think overnight, say, no, I don't want to leave power. Give me more years. Give me more years. Otherwise, we end up going back to the regime of one-party state that existed for a reason. One-party state in the 70s that was a practice in Africa. It was because there was a war between the apartheid and the oppressor colonizers and the liberation movement. So to control the movement, many countries lived under a one-party state. So that they focus on one thing than the internal what. It was not because they wanted to remain alone, but it was for the control so that the armed struggle is properly executed and identifiable. If they had allowed opposition political parties in their countries, it was going to cause more chaos because you will not now be knowing who are you fighting. So after the liberation of Southern Africa in particular, all those countries it became multi-party democracy. Because there was no reason now to remain a one-party state. So we don't want to go back there. We don't want to go back there. We want to move forward. Allow people to exercise their right to vote. Allow people to exercise their right to choose on how they want to be governed, how they want to govern themselves. Don't impose governments on them. That's what we are rejecting. We don't want that. Allow people to decide who becomes their leader. After all, a leader is supposed to be the servant of the people, not the master of the people. We don't want that kind of leadership. We want people who are leaders, not rulers. That time went during the Stone Age. So I end by calling all Zimbabweans, particularly the young people. This is your destination that is being crushed, dismantled, disseminated. It is your future. It is you tomorrow. The people who are doing all these things are of my age, who have absolutely nothing left for them. If I fail to buy a house at the age of 40 and you expect me to buy the house at the age of 78 years, that's a joke. So you cannot say now after 45 years we have new ideas. There are nothing, no new ideas. So the young people of Zimbabwe must wake up. We woke up. We had elders also who were old at that time. We were fighting politics of filling up deep tanks. Industrial revolution. We said, no, we need to use a gun now for these people to get to understand us. We took arms. At the age of yourselves now, we took up arms. Now we can no longer continue using arms because democracy, we brought it. So don't allow us to thrash that democracy. Don't allow us to kill your future. Demand your right. One man, one vote. That's what we fought for. We did not fight for anything else. One man, one vote. Equal distribution of our wealth as Africans in Zimbabwe. That's what we fought for. Thousands and thousands died because they wanted to achieve this principle of one man, one vote, equal distribution of our wealth. And everyone without leaving anyone behind, to participate fully into our political structures. Because this is a generational issue, that this generation will live to this end and the others pick from there going forward. So I'm calling upon all young Zimbabweans, all young people, wake up. Don't be intimidated by the word war veterans. They are no longer war veterans. You can see for yourselves. I mean, every week, National Heroes Egg, those are war veterans. In provinces, almost every day, there is a provincial hero being buried. We are going, not because we are being wished or witchcraft. It's because of our age. We are going. So don't allow us to leave a ruined country. Wake up, come up now. You have leaders among yourselves. You can identify leaders among yourselves that will lead Zimbabwe. The only thing that you should not forget is that the armed struggle that your fathers, your grandfathers, your aunties, your mothers fought for was to establish a principle of one man, one vote. Freedom of association, free expression of opinion, education for all, wealth for all, freedom to choose the religion you want, choice or freedom to choose a leader you want, the type of a government you want. That's what people died for. So stick on to that. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade Whitehead, for sharing that powerful message with the rest of Zimbabwe, with the whole nation. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for everything that you have been doing for us as young people, giving us information. Yeah, ndinokutenda ichaizvo.
Thank you, ndatenda.
Right, muwane usiku hwakanaka, muchengetedzwa naMwari.
Mozorora zvakanaka, tozobatana mangwana mune zvimwe.
Right.
Hatimire kutaura, taramba tichingouya tichitaura kusvikira vanhu vanzwa.
Ayo, tinotenda baba, morara zvakanaka.
Totenda. Thank you.
Right, mazvinzwira mega. Special messages that is coming from Comrade Whitehead. Zviri kuitika zvakaitika, zviri kutarisirwa kuti zvichaitika in the political circle. As for me, DJ Holly, kana wanga usati wadzvanya subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any exciting content uploaded. DJ Holly, I'm signing out.
We have no leaders but looter. Zimbabwe corruption is madness. I remain one.